No, I'm just trying to get my face. Okay, this is much more comfortable.
Trying to get your face to do what?
Trying to get my face to just be absolutely sensual.
I'm gonna hit the button. John, what did you say was wrong with your face?
It's too sensual.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps, episode 61. And it's Monday, and you better wake your ass up. And I gotta tell you, I'm on the high def mic, so I'm not sure how hard I can yell into it. John,
Ow.
episode 61, we're in person.
Yes.
We told you guys, hold on, I'm trying to adjust this thing. We told you guys we're gonna start doing these in person so we can get not only the voice, but also the epic video. John's got his shades on, he's ready to go. And
I'm on the ones and twos, Corey. I'm on the ones and twos, buddy.
we are on the ones and twos.
Okay?
And what's interesting is, because when we decide to hang out,
Yeah.
there's always something going on. Like
Yeah.
last night we went to go see Ben Kenny, a friend of the show, who's been a podcast guest before, in Incubus, which I've never seen Incubus in concert or really even listened to him a whole bunch, to be honest. But dude, I was blown away. John.
So I've seen them probably 10 times, and I think it's great to get a perspective from somebody who has not seen them, because
he's really not a rock guy. I mean,
right.
I was awesome.
But that's why what you experienced is why a band can exist for 20 plus years, keep going strong, and has probably another 20 years in them, because they did not feel, obviously this is my opinion, but I'm sure you felt it as well, they did not feel like a band that's been around for 20 years, right? They adapt and evolve without losing their sound. And you know, the performance element, I mean, I think probably we were talking about, like Brandon Boyd, lead singer, he just has a magnificent stage presence. The way they do their camera stuff, where Ben was getting mad love on the bass. I mean, it was really it was a show more than just a rock concert, and it's pure entertainment, man. I had a great time. I hope you did as well.
Yeah, I was blown away. I'll tell you, I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan.
Oh yeah.
And that guy, the lead singer, he is an entertainer. I don't know what really the word is, but he draws you in.
Yeah.
Because of how into the music. I think I can just appreciate somebody that loves their
Yes.
craft that much.
Yes.
Even if I'm not like a total rock fan. Obviously I listen to rap music most of the time, but no, thanks for taking us. It was cool that Ben put this up in VIP. And
Oh yeah.
It was cool to have Jacob. I was telling Jacob, Podius is with us because he's one of our main guys. And it's like, I was like, dude, this is what happens.
Well, yeah.
When you do what John and I do,
Yeah.
running the circles that we run, I try to explain to him, like, this stuff these experiences just come up, right?
Well, yeah, you have the pleasure, that's not the focus, but I believe it's the pleasure of coming across interesting people. So like when I came across Ben, he was interesting. It's not because he was cool or in a big band, it was just like, we had great conversation because he has a mind that's obviously excelling at the highest level in music, and I try to do the same in my field. And when you bring like minds together, friendships get created. And it's very cool that we've been able to maintain that for going on 10 years now. And then it never fails to amaze you when you see somebody in their element. And dude, how about the Hollywood Palladium as a venue? That was one of the most beautiful venues. If you guys have never been there, they call it the Hollywood Bowl, right? It's in the middle of Hollywood, and it is like a huge hill, but it's circular, almost like an opera house setup, and it's outdoors. The stage is at the base, and literally you can take a walk. You have great views from everywhere. I just thought the experience from top to bottom was unbeatable.
I was honestly blown away with the venue too. It was cool. It was a good night, but once again, it wasn't planned.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't planned, and neither was my dancing. Remember, right when we got there, I told the security guard. She goes, can I help you? I said, I'm here to dance, and she said, that's fucking awesome. And I said, well, I'm fucking awesome, and then that was it. So,
what also was unplanned was that I trained at 3 a.m. Eastern.
Ooh.
We walked in John's house at what time last night?
What was that? Maybe 1.
Yeah, it was up for 24 hours. Basically.
Yeah, 1:30, and Cory woke up at 10:53 a.m. Eastern Time today.
That's a lot.
Oh my God!
It was. Listen, I went to bed.
Wake your ass up! Yeah!
He was so excited. His wiener dog Bam woke up and ran in the room. Which, here's the other thing is, John is the best bachelor of all time.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Because he didn't have a shower curtain.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
Then when he bought the shower curtain.
Bought the wrong one.
For the extra bathroom. He didn't buy the rings that go with the shower curtain. So I had the fucking shower curtain flipped up. Basically it was blocking no water. I'm basically showering with no shower curtain.
Fuck.
It fell out 3 times. Then, no, this is even better. This is an inside look at John Fosco's bachelor pad. We should get B-roll of this, actually, Jacob, now that we have video, to put in this. When I went to get a fork, right, or a spoon, to make avocado, the silverware, now John's only been here a couple weeks. The silverware is still connected in the box.
Been here about a month. Been here about a month.
So good.
Yeah, you know how they have those zip ties? If you buy like a thing of silverware, they have the zip ties around the silverware. So like I bought like this shitty ass box the first day I got here of plastic forks and knives.
Yeah.
And I bought silverware, and as Cory just made you all aware, the zip ties are still attached. And I tried to get it off, but I was like tired one night. I'm like, I don't want to rip it. So I just threw it. I literally threw it in the drawer, and it's been there for about a month. Yeah.
So good. All right, so Johnny.
Yes.
We had a couple topics that we kind of went over, and there's this kind of coined phrase of multiple streams of income, and we understand it because we do it. We really want to be as relatable as possible on the podcast because there's a lot of guys that are trying to create the initial stream of income.
Sure.
Right? So it's hard for them to say, John Fosco makes his millions in these 4 verticals, but they need to get one vertical going. So how can we, and this is obviously where we're completely on the fly because we really, we're talking about this, like how can we get across, how to create these multiple streams after you get the one stream, and then it's like, okay, you built your first one, how do you even know that, like, have you tried multiple ones and one didn't work and then you came back, like, there's such a gap sometimes of like 20 years of us doing this that I forget.
Right. So
stream.
For sure. What I would say is, like you said, one has to establish that initial stream. So for everyone out there trying to establish their career, trying to establish their first job where they make real money, that is numero uno. But once you start collecting a regular paycheck, we're making it a rule. We're making it a rule. You must, at that time, put your eye on where you can deploy your extra capital when you get to the place where you have some. So start thinking about, am I interested in stocks? Am I interested in real estate? Is there friends of mine that own businesses that I would like to try to maybe silently invest in because I think I can add value? I think it all starts with, okay, I have my job, I make my money here. But because if you want to get wealthy, you must have your money work for you. That's not just a phrase, that is the truth. You got to start thinking about, okay, what am I interested in relation to? I think that's where it starts, because then you can study the stock market, which is fascinating, right? And you can study real estate. You can study the different areas of the countries that are depressed real estate-wise, and the different areas of the country that are ripe for the pickings. And I think it's just the awareness, like everything else, the awareness that something else is out there, and pick what I believe you have an interest in.
And see, this is a great point, because you go right to really like the highest level of my money working for me, and I go to the how do I create because I know personal service, I feel like so well, because personal training being my background. I go to right to how do I, create a detailing business? How do I create? It's always, to me, it's always like, how do I create a side business that's interactive with people? It's never, because I don't feel as comfortable doing that stuff. You know what I mean?
But to me, that's another job.
Yeah.
So
well, but is it, if you're the guy that's saying, hey, so you're trying to get out of your 9 to 5, let's partner up and I'll fund, like, I've saved this money, I want to invest into our business together, but you're the guy doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all how I always, that's where my brain goes. I don't know if that's the best, but that's like.
Well, I think it's different people, right? I mean, that's what you're used to, and I think it has to do with seeing something work once.
Yeah.
Once you see something work once, and you're like, wow, I just made $2,500 in 30 minutes, right? In my stock trade account, and all I did was held this certain stock, and they announced earnings today, and I made $2,500 in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So once you feel that, then it's like, okay, I'm learning how this game works. And don't get ahead of yourself and start throwing money everywhere. Take it slow and learn from that experience.
Yeah. So you believe it's like, so for me, for example, personal training was like my go-to for basically like just to let you guys know, my one source of income was personal training for literally a decade.
Right.
Like, I didn't go, okay, my personal training's here. Now, I had revenue sources inside of my business, like, I had a supplement stand, and it literally was it's so funny because I think back, I need to find a picture. My supplement stand in my personal training studio had 2 shelves.
Epic.
It might have had 7 products on it.
What color was it?
It was black.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just like literally like a shelf I bought and put together, and it was my supplement shack. You know what I mean? So it's so funny how things start. But It's like, that was one. Then I had, I could test body fat, and I would charge for that. That was 2. So I created all these little mini revenue sources inside of the personal training. But
sure.
I didn't really find till I created a supplement company. Then now with the online training, and then we've got other projects media-wise. It's like, I don't want people to think that they need to rush into that second one, because it might not show itself for a little while, but you need to be aware of trying to create it.
Right, and here's kind of, I guess, where I'm coming from. So the other day I went to have lunch with our friend who came to the concert last night, and we were talking, and he said, I have an extra $15,000 to $20,000, and I don't know what to do with it. And the first thing I said is, if you have an extra $15,000 to $20,000 and it's sitting in a checking account, you must condition your brain to look at that as it's costing you money.
Yeah, it's not making you money.
No. and that's where people are truly, they don't get it.
Sure.
They feel, emotion, they feel safe. They feel
it's because they don't have the educate, and I'm part of this too, because I don't feel as comfortable in the market as you do. Part because I got a little burn back in the day too, but it's like one of those things where you need to put that education around it so you do feel comfortable, right?
Right, that's why I'm saying once you start creating income in your first job, start looking at things and start okay, I'm interested in that. Okay, spend a year educating yourself on the market and how it is disjointed from the economy, but how it works. We talked about Warren Buffett last time.
Amazing. You guys have to watch a documentary.
Right, because stock trading, right? If you got to be short-term and agile with your money, it's a different game. If you want to be long-term, like a Warren Buffett, they're 2 totally different games. And if you want to be long-term, which I actually recommend, and you can still make trades, but if you roll long-term, you could go Buffett style and say, hey, is Coca-Cola ever going anywhere?
Yeah.
Fucking A, no it's not.
Yeah.
No, and it sounds so basic, but it is. And it's so much better than having your money in a checking account. That's how that's how Chase Bank gets rich, because they're lending that money out.
Well, yeah, they're giving us. I know I got my interest on my checking account. It was like, dude, like, why do you even post that number?
It's like 0.2%.
Yeah, it's so bad.
And if you put it in a savings account right now,
fucking racket.
Dude, they are a racket. And if you put it in a savings account, you used to be able to get like 5% on a CD.
Yeah.
Now it's like 0.2%.
Sure.
They're literally saying like, fuck you, pay me.
Yeah.
So as opposed to just being another guy, another schmo, just okay, Okay. Well, understand that they're making so much money in the banking industry is growing significantly in this country.
Sure.
Why? Why? Read about it. If you read about it, you'll find out that as opposed to lending money to people, they are taking their money, putting it in the market because their returns are larger. As opposed to lending it to me or you, well, we're going to make 5% a year on this, but here we're probably going to make a blended fit. Let's put it in the market. So then that means the money in your checking account, guys, let's say you have $50,000 in your checking account. That money is not in your checking account. That money is deployed somewhere because the bank is either making interest on a loan or they bought stocks or equities or property, and then when you go to withdraw it, they just have a central fund.
Sure.
Right? It's not like in an account.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's one thing that I want to be conscious of is we have so many young listeners, and no one explained compounding to me. Now, I think the best person to explain it is Warren Buffett, because that's what that entire fucking documentary was about.
Yeah.
And so this is probably a little bit arrogant on my part, but I never thought that my way of, let's call it, getting my money was ever going to be by that way, putting $50 away a month for 20 years. Now, I should have done that anyway. I didn't. It's worked out okay for me, but I always, and this is once again like something I don't know why, I always thought that I was going to have something big that I sold, or something was going to, I like basically convinced myself that was, like I would do it, and I do it now. I put in so much, at the SEP and all that stuff, but I just said, that's not the way I'm going to get my money. I'm going to fucking blow something up, and I'm going to sell it, or I'm going to get paid. And look, to a degree that's happened, but I wish I would go back to tell Jacob Pontius, Jacob, put $50 of your fucking check away. Put, you know what I'm saying? Like, that compounding, if you understand it, it's if you're in early, if you're 19 and you're listening, motherfucker, get in now.
Dude, absolutely. And here's the thing, guys. It's almost like,
because if you don't blow up, you might be in trouble.
Probably 0.001%.
Yeah.
Blow up.
I know.
So like we talk about in business all the time, forget home runs.
Yeah.
Let's hit singles because they add up.
You got to hit singles. So I'm telling you guys, I did that wrong.
Yeah.
I did it wrong.
But you can learn from it, because if you make $3,000 a month, do not tell me you cannot take $150 and put it in an account and forget it exists.
That's a great takeaway. Is that the equation in your mind, Johnny? Because a lot of guys are making probably $2,000 to $3,000 a month that just got their first gig. If they got their expenses, put together, like what should they put away that's reasonable?
Okay, so
300 might not be reasonable.
I believe there's certain things to look at, like housing should never be
more 10%.
Well, for young guys.
Yeah.
For young guys, let's say you're making $3,000.
Or if they're trying to pull lots of chicks.
Go ahead. No, I think for our young listeners, 20% of, let's say, $3,000 is $600.
Yeah,
that's depends on where you live.
Yeah. I just think Ohio.
Right. So I would say housing should never be more than 30%.
Okay. That's a good takeaway. 30%.
Yeah, and if you can keep all your expenses under 50%. Max 60%, then you have your spending money. If you can keep fucking 15% of your money, maybe even 10, and sock that away every month, guys, it's a fundamental shift in thinking, right? It's not about, man, I can make the payment on the 3 Series BMW now.
Yeah.
So it's, you know what, dude? My Pontiac Sunfire gets me to work and back. That doesn't define who I am, but if I keep driving it, I got an extra $250 that every month. And like you said, Warren Buffett, compounding.
Yeah.
$250 every month, month after month. If it's habitual, when something's habitual, you become used to it.
Sure.
If you become used to it and you don't do it, it feels weird, it feels off. So get used to it. Here's what I can tell you. I think one of the best communication lines me and my brother ever had is when we both started making money, we'd call each other every Monday and we'd be like, what's your balance at? What's your balance at? We didn't say, what'd you buy?
That's awesome.
We would say, what's your balance at? And our goal was to fucking climb that bitch. And it felt like we were climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And we both just got behind each other because we knew that was for the best. It wasn't, hey, are you gonna go get a fucking Maserati? No, it's what's your balance at?
I like it.
You know what I'm saying? And that really helped us, like, culturally.
Well, you guys did it together.
Yeah.
Well, plus, like, it feels like you're kind of on the come up together. That had to be
Absolutely.
cool.
Absolutely.
As brothers, like that. That's really cool. I think.
Yeah.
You know, what's so funny is like, I've always, talked about on this podcast about having that big dream or vision. But if I did 20 years of business and nothing ever blew up, all the money I kept spending back into it, like that money could have compounded that whole time. And I just think that was like immature of me to really be kind of with that thought process. I look back on it and think, gee, you could have put away $300 a month easy all day long. Even when you're personal training, I was making $10,000 a month. Like,
Right.
It's one of those things where learn from my mistake.
Right.
If you're young and listen to the podcast, part of why I do it now. Will my retirement be okay? I think I'll be okay.
Well, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's the point that, like you said, it's a really small percentage, and some of it's luck, some of you push it over top of it. But at the end of the day, it's like I think that that's something I did wrong that I want people to learn from. And John, the amount of like research and comfort that you have, I don't say comfort, the market's not always comfortable, but that you have in that type of investing, did that come over time, or is it like?
It's almost, I believe, like
I don't see you reading the newspaper, so I mean, you're not.
No. What I do a lot is I'll go to WSJ.com, Wall Street Journal, and what I'll do is I have my eyes focused on, like on my phone, I have probably 25 different equities, 25 different stocks. Entrepreneurship, I understood, and maybe it's luck, that it's a game of risk, and no one gets a reward without a risk. So when I put that money out, and when I saw my portfolio crash, and when I saw it come up,
But it only crashes if you sell it.
right.
That's what people fucking miss, I think, too.
But that's what makes them get out of the game. They see it crash, and then as opposed to saying that's an unrealized loss, they realize the loss because they're like, I don't want it to keep going down.
Yeah.
And that's why they say, suckers get killed in the market.
Yeah.
Because
That's what people are buying.
exactly.
That's the odd, and that's where the rich get richer.
Right.
1,000%. I watched Tony Robbins talk about it. He's like, dude, when that shit tanks, Huntington Bank tanks, this tanks, I buy more. People are selling to me, so when it corrects itself, because historically, it does.
It always corrects itself, and one could make the argument, I would say this, that crashes are manufactured by the richest bodies in the world, because when the market crashes, I just want people to understand what that is.
Buy blue chips, man, when it crashes. That's it.
I mean, you buy everything, but when it crashes, it's not something that just happens. What it is everybody panicking, going to their Scottrade account, calling their broker and saying, sell, sell, sell. It's me and you panicking, selling, which is pushing down the price of all the stuff. That's what people don't get it. They think it's an event that happens. No, it's me, guys like me and you saying, okay, sell all my stock. I know my portfolio is down 45%, but I don't want to lose any more. Sell, sell, sell.
Yeah.
And then the big dudes on the sidelines are watching it and they're like, ha! They're like, the market is cyclical. Look at it. It goes up and down. And anyone who has money or financial discipline, they have the agility to either pull the money out, like when they start seeing signs, or just keep it in and double down and double down. Because it always comes back up.
Tony Robbins did a thing, and I'll have to look it up. Maybe I'll have Jeremy do it now. He's helping with the podcast. He said that there were 7 days. I'm making this up.
Sure.
Out of the last 5 years, if you would have been out of the market, meaning like it would probably have been a day after a crash, like when most people were selling, if you were out of the market on those days, that your portfolio is worth like 20% less because you didn't stay in like on those type of rises,
Exactly.
right? So that's what his whole thing was like. Yes, you need to create these other incomes, but that thing needs to compound over time, and you need to basically fucking like take your just
not forget about it. You got to
Right.
watch it and
Right.
manage it, 'cause you're going to move some stuff around.
Right,
But
right.
That has to be part of your long-term plan.
Absolutely.
And I started that plan a little late.
Yeah, well, that, you know, everyone learns at their own pace, but, you know, if someone, like, if I could ask our listeners to take away one thing, it's if you have liquid, if you have some cash, okay, and the market crashes,
Yeah.
that is lottery time. That is lottery time, and wait for it to hit a point and start to trickle up, right? While it's falling, let it fall.
Yeah.
Wait for it to hit a point, stabilize, and then start coming up. Oh, I might have missed 5%. That's fine. You don't want to catch the swoop down. But I want you guys to understand, next time that happens, if you have cash, fucking buy. That's how the rich do it.
Yeah, that is how.
That's how they do it. That's how they repeat it, and it will never change. Because it is cyclical, and it's historical, and it's factual.
So we went through all that stuff, which I think was great. Definition of compounding interest is just time involved, you know, continuing consistently putting money in and letting it just grow year over year.
You mean compounding, like compounding investing?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
And then your definition of streams of income would that be 3 different jobs? Would that be 3 different businesses? Would it be, you know, let's kind of lay that out for everybody.
Yeah, so I think everybody has you have a family and kids. I don't. You know, young guys have maybe more freedom, maybe they don't, maybe they're married. I think that depends on your personal situation.
Sure.
Because it's very hard to have 3 jobs if you have all these other
It's impossible.
right, all these other things pulling at you. So based on, let's say you have a family. I would say, you know, crush it in your career, but let's create a stream of income in the area that, like I talked about earlier, you're interested in, right? So maybe you start with the market, you learn the market, always come in soft, come in slow, come in conservative, learn, take your losses, take your wins, learn. And then at that point when you're like, okay, I got this is moving, I'm making 12%, 15% a year or more,
Yeah.
right? There's gonna be years maybe where it's less. Then it's like, okay, what else can I do, right? Because here's a great way to do it. Here's what I recommend. You know, people do this, and they can relate to it with Las Vegas and gambling. But take what you've made in the market. Let's say you put $5,000 in a trading account, right? And your balance is $8,200. Take that $3,200 out and do something with the $3,200.
You're the next stream.
Yes, you're playing with house money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
And it's opening up something new. And do it the same way. Maybe take $1,500 of that $3,200, kind of learn it, feel it out. Oh, that's how it works. And then, you know, but if you can maintain your what they call that a cost basis, right? Your initial investment. If you can maintain your cost basis, take the profits, open up new streams, that's how we're really winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like in my career, I did actually one stream for a really long time. The second stream that opened for me, which was online training, which I was way ahead of, which was still training, but it was a different version.
Sure.
I was way ahead. I mean, I had online clients paying me $350 a month in like 2005 or 6.
Wow.
I was literally probably fucking 10 years ahead of everybody else.
It's awesome.
And a lot of people don't, you realize. So I was making, just to kind of turn back the clock a little bit, I was involved in some multi-level marketing. I was a consultant for some companies back in the day, which was another stream of income too, by the way. So I had so I did personal training in the gym, and I realized that I could only trade time for money for so long. And I said, how can I leverage what I know, because I've been doing this 10 years. I got basically a job as a retainer, so it was a 1099, so another stream to consult for a big multi-level marketing company, which is, let's call it an Amway or
Sure.
And so they're paying me $4,000 a month. Well, what I realized was the guys that were making 50, 60, 100 grand a month, they all needed a personal service. So I saw an opportunity, and I said, oh shit, I know these guys, they're open-minded, because we're 10 years ahead obviously on online training. It's $350 a month. There's no social media. I'm emailing them, I'm calling them, I'm doing whatever to make sure. John, I created my second, let's call it third stream of income. I ended up on a Wednesday night, check this out,
I would talk to people every half hour, and I made $7,000 a month just working Wednesday nights, which then was equal to or more at some points than I was making in the fucking gym all day long, plus had the retainer coming on the side. So it's like I went from personal training one stream to seeing that opportunity that I created for myself as a consultant, which was the second stream. Then boom, the third stream, which was online training, which were three different whole businesses, basically because they operated at different times. The staff, and then I think that's what kind of woke me up. And this is previous to starting MP. That was like, oh, okay, this is how guys do it. Now, I was still, my time was still in, like, it still had to be pretty heavy invested. Still trading time for money, but I was leveraging it up a little bit to where it wasn't as much time. Like, the stuff on the online took way less time than it took me 30 hours or 40 hours in the gym. I think that's how my brain started to transition and understand, oh, this is, I'm still making like 10, 12,000 a month, but man, it's getting a little easier. Like, but once again, it was after 10 years of the regular grind of 50 hours of personal training. So I think that's how mine started the transition to opening my mind to think, now, okay, I'm selling essentially these supplements for this MLM too, which was another stream that worked. Why am I not the guy that's making products? You know what I mean? So I think that's really all that kind of stuff as it transitioned. Started to leverage my time and my understanding.
Well, and your exposure, you're exposed to all these different ways to do things. And what I like about that is when you get into a particular space, like, you know, training and all that, guys, there's always a new, different, it's not always better, but a new, different way to do things. There's not one way. And understand that if you do what everyone else does, you will have mediocre results. So if you're in a space like Cory was, okay, I'm going to try he went and did something different. Was it groundbreaking at that point? No, but it was aggressive. And it was a land grab. So if you ever think you're going to get ahead by doing the same thing that the guy sitting next to you or the girl sitting next to you is doing, you're not, because your value is the same, unless, let's say, you're a salesman and you produce at a higher level. You must take the norm and say, how can I tweak it to make it mine? And then when you do that and you hit it, then people will pay you to consult for them. And then they will try to learn from you. And then you can sell PT online because you tweaked it and made it your own.
Exactly. And as it evolves, I continue to do that. As now, I was like, you know, when I had a consulting job, I was essentially the early stage of CoryGFitness.com, but through them. And so, like, once I figured that out, then understood the exposure online through the next business, that's over 20 years how all this stuff worked. It's like I continued to evolve to leverage my knowledge and time, which created more streams of income. And so I think that, like, a lot of people think, I got my first, you know, business going and job, I need 4 more streams. It really sucks. This is a 20-year process for me that I want people to understand that, like, did not happen overnight. I think what I need to do a better job of, and I told Jacob and some of the young guys in the office this, they only, and you guys are the same, you guys don't really know me the first 10 years. You hear the coal mining stories, you hear the first gym, but, like, I fucking struggled, man, for a while to build that business. Like, it didn't, the first gym that was 900 square feet, I was building that one for 3 years before I even had an additional trainer that was there helping. Like, that time, it just seems like it was such a long time ago, it's hard to reflect. Fuck, man, the first stream was hard.
Well, dude,
so you're experiencing what I experienced. I don't want people to take it lightly. Like, that first stream, to get it secure enough to support me and Rachel and Alex as my first baby, is like, that shit was hard.
Because think about it, that is where all your learning for your future success that you're setting up, that you don't know you're setting up, but you are setting up, that's where it takes place. And I can 100% identify, because my home went into foreclosure and I had one option, and that's when I went into business for myself, right? It immediately went into foreclosure because I could not make enough money to support my mortgage. and my only option is to make the business work, right? So fucking hey, you want to talk about stress and a time in my life where I struggled? Just like you, man. It was so hard. So you guys that are listening, understand that this isn't something where it's like, oh, we're listening to some guys where, we aspire to be there, and I don't think, no, dude, like this, all it is it's time involved, it's consistency, it is belief, it's perseverance, and it's the ability everybody has to be aware enough around them that, hey, I might not be doing this the right way. Yeah. Maybe there's a better way.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a younger guy. Maybe there's a younger guy that my ego doesn't want to let in, that can help me and show me what I'm missing. It doesn't matter old, young, a woman, man. It's like, once you just understand that you will do anything it takes to learn, learning is how I got here.
Yeah, of course. Learning by fire.
Yeah.
By fire.
Yeah, no, yeah, man.
I mean, John, pretty much historically, your career, you're never really scared to take chances either.
No, not at all.
That's
not at all.
The thing. I've heard you, John has, his emotion towards money is completely different than anybody I've met, that I've actually known personally.
I don't have emotion
exactly.
towards it. No.
So it's almost like, to me, the way that you seem, and I'm not like this, I need to get better at it, but is the poker player that is truly playing with, whether it's house money or not, that's how they play. They're playing to win. There's no emotional attachment. They can lose it all. Like, if you're putting 50 grand in something, you don't want to lose it, but you're willing to lose it. And it's like, so it's like you have a different, and that's how guys in business win.
Right.
Because no one makes money with scared money.
No, because then your eyes are off what you need to focus on.
Yeah.
Because guys, we've said this numerous times, emotion, I don't care what fucking area it's in, it is a cloud. And to make a sound decision, you cannot have a cloud in the way of what you're looking at. You need to be able to laser focus, especially if you're deploying your capital. You need to be able to focus laser on that bitch. And if you feel emotion, your heart's beating, what if, you're fucked. You are fucked. Because you're going to do it half-ass. Either you're not going to do it, or you're always going to be the guy that said, oh, I thought of that, and this guy started doing it. That motherfucker. Well, that motherfucker did it while you were thinking about it. Yeah. Why the fuck didn't you do it? So shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear your stupid story.
Yeah. So, has it always been like that, though, or did that come over time? The comfort of throwing it out and working hard around it and managing it, but not being scared.
You know what? Yeah, it has, and I think it has to do with my childhood, because I grew up with I call it a disdain for money, right? Okay. I always knew that I had to have money for freedom.
Sure.
But I grew up with a disdain for money because of circumstances in my childhood. So when I'm in a situation where I'm trying to make it and I can risk it, if I lose it, I don't give a fuck, because to me, money is simply money. And I always say to myself, and listen, I've lost 50 grand, I've lost 100 grand, I've lost more than that, on some investments. It's happened. It's part of the game, right? But to me, if I lose it, what do I got? I still have what I have right now, and I say, how bad is my life? Has it changed my life? And then actually, that's the trick right there. If you invest money or you deploy capital, and it is to the amount where you say to yourself, if I lose this,
will it change
will my life be in a state of peril? And if the answer is yes, that investment is too much. If it's not, then go all in. And if you lose it, guess what? You're still going to wake up the next morning and go to work and be okay. It's just fucking money.
Is there a time, though, when somebody needs that level of pressure to perform, though, John? Because sometimes the burn the bridge, this has to work. Is that good for people sometimes though? Or do you?
I don't understand exactly what you mean.
So let's say you have $15,000. You're super focused on same. Good example is me. I had $5 grand to open this personal training studio, and I had there was like no option for failure. You know what I mean? Like I had a 3-year lease because that's all I had to sign. I was on the hook for it. I had to make it fucking work. And so like there was no other option. Had to fucking work. And I think I almost needed something like to that level to put the pressure on me that there was nobody gonna save me. No one gave a fuck. And like it was on fucking me, 100%. And I almost feel like sometimes people need the fucking bridge cut. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes people show up when that happens, and other people fucking crumble.
You're 100% right. I believe that's where you find out what you're made of. Now the danger there though is some
more made up.
Right. So if you say that's how I'm going to become a businessman, I'm going to take what I got and just say I got to make it work. Some guys literally will go to bed at night and won't be able to sleep because that stress. Listen, one of my first business partners and friend was a friend. One of the smartest guys I know. One of the smartest fucking guys I know. But the pressure of running a business, literally, he admitted it to me over time. He said, John, he's good. He's got plenty of money. He's like, I can't focus on my wife. I can't focus at my other job. This pressure and this stress, it's eating me alive.
Wow.
And
he was honest.
Yeah, and I gotta walk. And we're talking about a very smart guy. So if he would have put himself in that position where he only had $5,000 and he had to make it work, he would have got eaten like a fucking great white will fucking eat your leg if you put it in front of it. You know what I'm saying?
How you know though, ultimately?
Dude, I think the key always, and this is very hard for people.
I think this is how I knew I could do it.
But the question is there a way to know before you jump in, right? So
I personality only knows one way.
Right, well, right. And that's where we have to be aware that a lot of the listeners don't operate like us. Some do, but the one thing I can say is, dude, if you can be, maybe you can't even, you're not at the level where you can share this with someone else, but if you can be honest with yourself, take yourself in a dark room, it's just you and the walls, and run yourself through some scenarios, and be fucking honest. Don't be what your mom wants you to be, or your wife or your girl. Just say, okay, if I do this 10 hours a day, and it's not working well, am I gonna fight? And if you're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna fight, I'll fuck that shit. Okay, go do it. But if you start quivering a little bit, so I think the conversation with yourself has to come first.
It's the old it's the thing Rocky said. That's the person you gotta fight every day.
It is.
I watched Creed when I was on the way home from Ireland.
Yeah.
And that's what it, and I think his name's Michael Jordan. No,
it is.
Yeah. He's looking in the mirror. Which that movie was good.
It was good.
It
was good.
Through something that great.
Yeah, I agree.
But when he says that, as cheesy as it kind of sounds, that's really who you're up against every day.
Every day you're up, and it's not even the physical embodiment. It's what's in between your ears.
That's the difference.
We live in our own bubble. It's our own bubble. Right now you got a bubble. Right now
I'm aware of that.
I got a bubble. But as long as we know that bubble is not reality, as long as we're honest with ourselves and say, yeah, I live in a bubble, right? But I can differentiate it between. It's like someone with strong political views or religious views.
Yeah.
Those are your views. And as long as you know they're your views and you don't push them on, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. So I think it's understanding the limitations of your bubble versus reality.
Yeah. So how, I have no clue how all this is going, but I'm super intrigued by this stuff, and I think this is going to help a lot of people. It's almost like, you hear, even I saw Steve Harvey once he had that he said that randomly wrong thing, caught a bunch of flack, and then I saw him like a month later at the end of one of those shows, games you gotta hang yourself out there. But I wonder if some people along the way to that, they're gonna be scared if they can try to find out that's in there. Like, I don't know how to explain that. I think it was just my own confidence. I was like, fuck it, let's go. It's time. I got no other option. But it's like,
yeah, no.
I don't know how to get it across.
I know what you're saying.
Don't know any other way.
Right. So here's how I would put it, and this is how I've tried to explain it to people. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. Is if you say you want something, let's say professionally, are you willing to sacrifice, let's say,
yes,
your Saturday night,
yes,
your Sunday night,
I was.
you're watching NFL football with your friends, drinking as much, all these things. Going out with your girls to dinner on a Wednesday night because you may have to. If you are like unequivocally like, yes, like, and there's no thought about, oh, well, my friend does this 4th of July barbecue and that's really, get the fuck out of here then. Right. If I want something and I'm going to get it, or if you want something and you're going to get it, it's like, yeah.
That's it. That's how you know.
That's how you go all in.
That's literally how I felt.
Yeah, nothing will stop me.
When my friends, because I lived on the Ohio State campus, which John didn't realize.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I basically had the college experience, although I was building a business, and all those things were a yes. They're like, hey, I got clients that. Well, I remember the first time a client said, Thursday nights are pretty big on college campuses.
Absolutely.
Most guys skip class on Friday, I guess. I don't know what the fucking class anyway, but it's like Friday morning, I had appointments at 7, which means I can't go out on Thursday. I remember plain as day, right? There was this thing called, what the fuck was the bar called? I can't remember. Whatever the bar was that was real popular at Ohio State, it was on 13th or 14th. There was a Kinko's right beside it. No shit. I was at the Kinko's at 1 a.m. running off flyers to go try a marketing thing that didn't work, and all of my friends were drinking at that bar that night. And I walk out, not thinking, and I don't want you guys to think that I thought I was better, because I didn't. This is just what had to happen for my business. I was busy painting the walls of the gym, getting it ready. That was the time. Kinko's was 24 hours because it was on campus. I was like, you know what? My thought that they were there wasn't even in my mind. I was going to run off flyers because I had an appointment at 7 a.m. the next day, and after that I was going to go flyer like a gym parking lot down the street to try to pull personal training. Like there was a California Fitness or whatever it's called, and I was going to flyer all the cars and try to steal some of the clients.
Sure.
I walk out, and motherfuckers are hammered. Gee, come on over, blah, blah. I'm like, I got appointments in the morning. But the funny thing is, the difference is I didn't care. Not that I don't want to hang out with my friends.
Right.
But mentally, I had turned on this switch that said yes to every question John just said. This is probably the best way that I've ever been able to articulate that's how I felt. They didn't understand it, and I didn't expect them to. But I put myself on the line to try to live my dream. And it was only 900 square feet. It was fucking terrible. I didn't have any, but it was the start, and all those answers were yes. It did not fucking matter.
I think, and I think that's a great story to kind of embody what we were just saying. And I think that's an NNP. I think that's what we'll call it. A non-negotiable priority.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we could pick one word, it is not only a, but the priority.
Yeah.
So there is nothing, right? That's why it's non-negotiable. It's like, no.
That's it. That's the way it is.
Nothing. If my mother's dying in the hospital, fine. Short of that, dude, there's nothing that's going to stop it. It's a non-negotiable priority. I will be successful.
Yes.
I am jumping in because it is a non-negotiable priority for me not to.
Yeah.
That's it. I love you, friend. I respect you, friend. Please, for our relationship, respect me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do my thing, man. I'll have free time. When I have free time, we're going to hang. But please, respect me.
Yeah.
I'll respect you.
I think that non-negotiable priority of building a business and a startup is the only way it works.
Yeah.
I think that I got to give Jacob some props because I think Jacob understood that pretty early.
Yeah.
That it was Sunday and it needed done. It was Saturday and it needed done. It was early on Tuesday. It was late on Thursday. He's never said a word. And he, as him being the leader in the Ohio office, we're here to open up the Cali office.
Yes.
That's what we got to continue because that's how you build a fucking business.
Right, and want to know what I think is fantastic about that example is So I think when you do that, when a young guy like Jacob or when we were younger doing it, when you realize that any day that ends in Y is a work day, right? It actually sounds worse than it is, and let me explain.
So you earn the freedom to call your shots.
But let's say if we call on Jacob on a Sunday or a Saturday or a late Thursday, let's face it. It's probably 5 minutes of something. But it's not about that. What it's about is the phone calls coming in, it's a priority. It's only 5 minutes or something. But you would be shocked at how many people would say, this is my time. And it's simply that.
I don't watch TV, John.
Right. It's that.
I don't watch TV. What do you mean?
That thought process is what will defeat you. That's what will defeat you.
If you're listening right now and you can't identify with what we just said, then you're probably definitely not meant to be a business owner. It's back to entrepreneur, because although Jacob is working under us, when Jacob goes to do it on his own, he knows what it's going to take.
Of course he does.
Because he saw it,
right.
He's experienced it as a person in the organization. But when he's the shot caller one day, which is what we all hope, right? That's what we're getting him ready for. Alex and everybody that comes in the organization that has come up and had a position in max effort.
Sure.
When it's their turn, I try to tell him, I was like, dude, you know more right now. This is crazy to think about. He's 23, right? I started MP when I was 29. He knows more right now than I did when I said, hey, let's start Muscle Farm.
Right.
He knows more than I do.
Right.
That's fucking crazy to me.
Well,
but that's what happens when you put in that kind of fucking work around guys like us and you just make it a priority. It blows my mind to think that how much product we sold, where I started at, how much I know now, and that, you know, these guys from the podcast people would fucking probably know more.
Right. And one thing you have to admire, and you also must have, but you have to admire it in the people that are not the business owners, is the absurd belief we're going to build an 8-figure business, right? The odds of that.
I always believe it.
Right. But literally the odds of it are way below 0.5%. But when you have other guys who aren't controlling things, but they believe, like you believe, that is the key.
Yeah.
Because they understand then that, hey, I'm in this. And that's why we always say, take ownership. Because, dude, if we all are a team, listen, one man can't do this.
Right.
2 men can't do it. As we grow, fucking 10 men can't do it. And you need that personality trait of a borderline insane belief, right?
And we called that enough as it
right, as something that is so statistically rare.
Yeah.
But if you believe it, it's cheesy, you can achieve it, because I refuse. I absolutely refuse to accept anything else.
Yeah.
That's it. I refuse it.
And how good was this?
That's great.
We know that we need to be in person and enjoying.
Absolutely. And here's the one thing that's going to happen. Will it happen today? Maybe, maybe not. The dance contest will take place.
I don't know. I think like you got chicken last time. Just saying.
Oh no!
Just say it, Bosco.
Listen.
Just say it.
Listen. I was doing 120-pound flies the day earlier, and I got a hip pointer. I got a hip pointer. That's why.
John, they should give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. They should check out Max Upper Muscle Baking Mix. Listen, I can attest to John's cooking skills.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
I got 2 pans though.
So he has cereal in the fridge, which I'm not sure why.
I don't know why either.
Shelf maybe.
But the box isn't even closed.
I know, it was amazing. And he's got baking mix. So when he said, I know how to make cereal in the MaxEverMuscle.com baking mix, he fucking lied. He was nervous when I said we should put that SKU out together. We were making the decision. He's like, dude, do you think people know how to cook? I'm like, I think. Luckily we got Dustin.
Yeah.
Help teach people, but
absolutely.
Look, make sure you give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. You know, give us some feedback on how you like this episode. Because this seems to be a format that was really fun and enjoyable. And what you guys got to realize too is sometimes we're working through things in our head as we bring up these topics that we haven't thought about in a while.
No, this is all ad lib. improvisation, and that's what we're trying to deliver, a real conversation. That's it. And that's how you deliver a real conversation, you know. And I think it'll always be that way to a certain extent. And that's where I believe we can get the really good shit, because the really good shit isn't scripted.
No, hell, appreciate you, buddy. You did a good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
The podcast can't.
It can't be